you saw my previous video, you know I'm wearing the same outfit because these are pre-recorded. I am on vacation, and so right now what I'm sharing in this video is not the top. The top is in the previous video, and I showed how I did my gaping neckline and my sloping shoulder adjustments in that video for this is the Cashmerette Springfield top, and how I modified it to remove the back yoke. So that's in the previous video, so make sure you check that out. This video I am showing how I just did a quick self draft. Let me see if I can back up. Hopefully you can, yeah, you see the bottom, how I did this drawstring self drafted skirt using a denim skirt that I have. And so I will go ahead now and transition into that, and I will come back in the end. So I'm just showing here my skirt that I used. This is a ready-to-wear jean woven, and I will show how I will lay it out. I got this brown paper from, I want to say Michael's or Office Depot. It's craft paper, and I went ahead and folded it in half and laid this down, and I'll trace around the skirt. I ironed it really well and then folded it over. And so then from there, as you can see, I began marking out. I kind of messed up that first line, but I end up tracing around the entire skirt. And here is what I ended up with. And I had a little jog there. I messed up a little bit with the tracing, but then I kind of cleaned that up. And so now this will be my front and back piece. And what I did was I added 1 inch seam allowance. And so that's what the little red marking is. And as you can see, that's the marking all the way around. No, I'm sorry, I did a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And at the top and on the sides I did 1 inch. And so this will be my basic front part. I'll cut on the fold, and then as well as my back piece, which will be cut on the fold. So my sides are 1 inch. I'm showing how I will smooth that out with my curved ruler. And now we have our front and back skirt pieces. And here I'm doing the waistband. So the waistband I did 1 inch seam allowance. I'm sorry, 1/2 inch seam allowance, and put that on the fold as well. I actually end up changing these. You'll see that shortly. I end up changing some of these measurements on here. And so when I measured from the fold line over, it was only 13 inches, which is too small. It's not wide enough. So I had to go back and clean all of that up. And I, just in case, again, this was totally impromptu, have never done this before. Of course, you can do a skirt block, but this was something quick. And so I went back in and I added the necessary inches I need. I need an additional 3 inches on the side, and then again, 1/2 inch seam allowance at the top and at the bottom. And then also, and I'm just marking here just so you can see it, 1/2 inch seam allowance at the bottom. And same thing, I went back and cleaned up my waistband piece. So I showed that first piece just to, you have to play with it a little bit. Again, this is not technical. This is just, like I said, impromptu. I wanted to do this and it worked out much better. So I went ahead and laid my pattern pieces out. I'm going to cut this out. Now I have my skirt piece cut out here, and I will begin sewing. And so what you see me here doing is just really laying out everything, adding the interfacing. I will not show a lot of this because we all know how to add interfacing, but I just want to show you that I did cut out not just the pattern pieces, but I went ahead as well and cut out the interface pieces, and I added those to the waistband pieces. And then from there we will begin sewing. Okay, so before I go ahead and attach anything, I'm going to take my front and back pieces, set my pattern piece down. I'm going to take my front and back pieces here, and I'm just going to baste the side seams. So I know this is my top. I will go ahead and just put a wonder clip there to remind me this is the top of the skirt. And the reason I'm just going to baste the side seams is just to see how it fits around my hips, make sure there's a good fit. I'm going to start by basting it just a 1/4 of an inch, and then see if I need to take it in at all. And so I'm just going to go ahead on and pin all of the side seams together, do a quick baste, and I'll be right back. Just see the bottom half of my body. I'm putting on the skirt just to try it on to see how I like it. Make sure it's not too baggy or anything like that. It's inside out, so if I need to pinch anything in, I could. And obviously the waist is too big because I need to attach the waistband, but this absolutely fits awesome. And although it is a cotton linen, might have a little stretch to it, I'm not going to take it in anywhere. It tapers down how I like it. What probably end up happening is I might shorten it by 2 inches. But yeah, this is good. So I'm going to go ahead on and serge down these sides, and I will be right back when I'm ready to go ahead and attach the waistband. What I have done is go ahead and sewed my front and back waistband pieces together, and I at the side seams, and so now we have a front and the back. What I then did was meet the side seams together, so now that you have a band like this, because what I am doing is putting if I didn't mention it earlier, I am putting a drawstring in the through the waistband. So I matched up my side seam, so now it's like this, and I laid it down and I marked where I'm going to put buttonholes. Now I'm doing this I've done this in a different pattern before, and so I know to do this, but on this folded end, this measures, I don't know if you can see the dot. Yeah, you can. The dot right there I marked, that measures from the bottom of the band. This is the bottom of the band. So if this is the front, let me just unfold it. Let me put some dots here. Hold on. Okay, so I put some dots here so you can see. So essentially what I did was go ahead and mark where I'm going to put my buttonholes. And so if this is the front, and once this is all stitched down, it'll kind of look like this, and there'll be these two holes, and through that hole is where I'm going to run the drawstring. But here is the marking. I just want to make sure that you saw that. And I am going to use my buttonhole foot, and I want to say this is a 5/8 inch button. Yeah, about a 5/8 inch. I just keep it in here. I'm going to go ahead and make 2 buttonholes, and I will be right back. So I have my buttonholes in, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is use I have a surgical seam ripper, and this thing is very, very sharp. So if you have one or will get one, be very careful. I've sliced my finger a couple times. But anyway, I'm going to use this. I mainly use this to undo serger threads. If I have to undo a seam that has been serged. But I also use it for buttonholes. So I just simply take the serger ripper and just poke it very lightly into the buttonhole, get it open. That's it. You can barely see that because of the color, but very gently. Take your time doing this because you don't want to cut through your buttonhole stitches. That's it. Put this dangerous tool away. And so now I have my buttonholes are open, and I'm going to take my freight check, which I have here, right away, and go ahead on and use that to go around the seams. And sometimes I have to poke a little hole in there because the glue dries up, but just a little bit, and I take it and put it right around that opening very lightly. And I'll do this on the front and the back. So I'll do it on the front of the fabric and on the back. So I can now go ahead and move forward and attach this to the skirt, and we'll go from there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half, and let me just show you something real quick. I'm not really concerned about this though. So when this gets folded in half, let me make sure I'm holding this the right way. So when this gets folded in half, you're going to go ahead and press all the sides around, and then so you see the buttonhole loops here, which I could have brought them down just a little bit, but again, impromptu, so we're just going to work with it. So you're going to go ahead and iron this wrong sides together, and this is just a quick, simple way to do this. Wrong sides together, go ahead and iron this all the way around. And then we're going to attach it to the right sides of the skirt. So I'll be right back after I fold this and pin this to the right side of the skirt. Okay, top stitching is done. Top stitching is done. I grabbed my drawstring. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, I was going to make these into those culotte shorts, but it would have been too much bulk and looking too busy, so that's why this is totally impromptu. I had thought about it, and I was thinking, okay, no culottes, we're going to do a skirt which will look much better and not so bunchy. And so I already had the drawstring. I have 2 yards. This is 2 yards. This is the type of drawstring that it is. Look almost like a shoelace, almost. So I got this from Joann Fabrics. And so I'm going to go ahead and take this all the way through. Then I'm going to try it on and see how much I want to shorten it by. I'm thinking 2 to 3 inches, but we shall see. I will be back. So here it is, drawstring in. It fits beautifully, lovely color, and let me step back. Not sure if you can see that, but I'm going to take about 4 inches off the bottom and do a 1/4 inch in. Yep, I am happy. Here's the drawstring. I am happy. Okay, so I am very happy with it. In the next clip, you'll see me in the top and the skirt fully done. So although I am taking 4 inches off the bottom, I am not going to cut my pattern piece. What I'm going to do is measure 4 inches up, and I'm going to draw a line across that says short or knee length. I'll mark it and let it say knee length instead of cutting this, because the length is actually nice for different types of skirts. And so I'm just going to leave that there, but then add a knee length line, and so that will be my pattern piece going forward. So thank you everybody for tuning in again, and I will come back in the next clip and share with you the final look. Okay, I am back. It is the end. So hopefully that was okay. My explanations were okay. You understood what I was saying. And again, I am no expert, but it was impromptu because initially I was going to, this is a cotton linen that I bought from Fabric Mart, and during one of their sales, and so I initially wanted to do M7131 culottes, and then I just felt like the fabric was a little too stiff for that, and it would have looked real balloonish on me, and having a tummy, yeah, that just wouldn't have looked good. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna do a drawstring skirt, and I don't have a pattern like that, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make one. How about that? And so here is the pattern piece as I showed you, and I did add my knee length line as I talked about in the video. My waistband piece, what I am going to do, the fullest part of my hip, I am going to extend the waistband out because the waistband did have a little bit of, I had to kind of ease it in a little bit. And there's a couple little puckers, which you can't tell because it's a drawstring anyway. But I need to take that out ever so slightly so I don't have that issue when I'm laying those pattern pieces together. But yeah, it came together very simply, as you can tell. And so, yeah, that's it. That's all I have. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know this one is a little shorter. Then well, it might be a little longer because of all of the clips and everything, but hopefully you enjoyed this set of videos, the gaping neckline and sloping shoulder, how I make those adjustments, and now my skirt, very simple skirt piece that I made to go with the top. Very impromptu. Yes, there are probably some things I can do a little different with this pattern piece, but I'm perfectly okay with how I did it. Like I said, that's the only change I'm gonna make with the waistband, and from there I am going to do different things with this, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, so that's all I got, everybody. I am already on vacation. I might be on my way back by the time you see this video, but give me a few days to respond to comments. If you have comments or anything, leave them down below. Don't forget to thumbs up this video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share the video. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in every week. And I will see you next week. I don't know what day that's going to be. That's, I think, the last day of Sunday, the 25th. That might be the 25th. No, the 26th. You will see a video from me showing my entire anniversary collection, what I made, and a little bit of a pattern review. Well, I'll show what I made. Maybe I'll break it up and do pattern reviews in a separate video if you like. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how long the video is, because I did make quite a bit. So, all right, everybody, have a blessed week, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.